Okay, letter addressed to Beau of the fifth column. It's 7:12 in the morning Pacific Standard Time, August 24th, 2023. Weaver John C., the diary of the griever named John Weaver, which would be me, from Rosamond, California. Caught your act this morning. Let's talk about who won the debate. I really got burned out from every one of these Trumplicants even before the debate started. I mean, Trump was going to be in the damn thing, and I didn't want to watch him in the first place. But you still had DeSantis in there. You had Vivek, whatever the hell his name is. Yeah, that's an insult right there. Nikki, what's her face? And oh yeah, the vice president who actually did an actual constitutional thing to continue with democracy and is branded a traitor by a lot of people outside of a January 6th riot or invasion. Polite way of saying it. And a few other cast of other people on there. One person that we didn't see on there that managed to gripe and bellyached on social media was Larry Elder. Shall we give that guy some me time here? Larry Elder was going after, I think in the last election cycle we had, against Governor Gavin Newsom. Now he theoretically is a talk show host on his own radio show, broadcaster who has no experience in government, but just becoming a mouth. That's about it. Usually, if I'm going to be voting someone in, unless I want someone who knows how to do the system in the first place and knows politics, political science 101. I mean, hell, if you graduated out of a college, you had to have taken political science 101 just to understand the political system if you're going to be engaging it a little bit later on down in, life. Me, on the other hand, I ain't touching it with a 10-foot pole. I mean, I'll talk about damn politics, but I'm not going in an office. You kidding me? I'm not fiscally minded, except for trying to balance my own damn limited funds coming in from disability at this point over here. Understanding a little bit about the system, yes, but also understanding about the pitfalls. Pitfalls, the people with pitchforks and everything else ready to skewer you one, in case you don't do anything their way. And not to mention having the contention of going up and down the state of California, trying to run for the governor of this state that's going under. Yeah, me coming from a libturd/libtard. I own that one. I mean, it was given to me, so I own it. People out here in conservative land of Rosamond, California, not to mention Kern County. But I don't think you actually understand who and where our theoretical Speaker of the House resides and works out of. Yeah, my sewer hole. Kern County, California. He's almost just as much as a liar, cheat, thief, and stealer like the orange gas bag was when he was in the office. So unfortunately, the people around here in Kern County won't do Democrat. They'll do Republican, and they'll keep voting in the gas bag. It's no wonder that they don't see any progress in their particular county. But they're so enamored with the gas bags, it's not even funny. I'm out here because I had cheaper rent. LA County got so expensive, it's not even funny. LA City, don't even touch that. Don't even touch that one. So when we were talking about the debate last night, yeah, I did miss it. I did miss it because I was getting sick and tired of the damn shit. All these people theoretically have good, fine ideas of how to curtail, corral, contain, not to mention uh, imprison everybody. Climate change, we're going to kill ourselves with the climate, but they don't give a, they don't care. The fearless leader they'll try to support and defend like crazy. In fact, we got the past several months we've been hearing that since the Speaker of the House fought his way to the top, only to discover what kind of a pile of garbage he got himself on top of, and how much power he had to get rid of. So he's doing a balancing act on this one here. And I heard Vivek in some of his clips out there on regular media and the progressives out there. They love to send stuff like that out there for people to understand what's going on these days. They're going to be talking about this all day on the media, on who won, who lost. They're all a bunch of losers when I kept looking at them. I mean, if Chris Christie was on there and actually talking, I missed a whole damn thing. For a guy who ran New Jersey, and he ran it as a Republican, but he comes up as an articulate and observant person. He's not out there trying to force personal views down people's throats. I can't say if he ran New Jersey efficiently, but he was doing the best he can to keep himself in the public limelight by putting himself in as a correspondent to one or two or three stations out there. At least he's got namesake. He's trying to get gravitas built up here. He's no Reagan. I hate to say it, but if he's going to be the only Republican candidate out there to trust, I'll trust him. Because he's got the gravitas for it, but does he actually have anything else beyond that? Well, he's not trying to sell people snake oil like everybody else is, all the Trumplicans out there. If they happen to follow Trump and try to tell us that Trump is it, we have to support him, especially trying to get a Congress to vote the guy. I mean, to take off all the gloves that's been put on this poor schmuck. Poor schmuck, did I say? There's nothing poor about this asshole except boring brains. That's about it. But he's got people thoroughly convinced that he's the most intelligent person out there and he should be running the country again. And he just is trying to get more and more of his ego built. I'm kind of surprised that his family hasn't backstabbed him yet. Are they that devoted to him or are they that terrified of the guy? Beau, I keep asking myself whether or not if the Trump, if I'm going to have to keep using his damn name, is a gangster. I'm not floating out an idea or a theory. I'm asking a good question at this point over here. Do you think that Trump is a gangster? Look at his patterns. The thing I hadn't seen him do is, well, he's probably done intimidation and threats one way or another by wording them differently and allowing the people in the audience to do the dirty work. As much as you did your investigative reporting here, have you ever noticed a mob boss who actually had the crowd be used instead of the lieutenants to do the dirty work? See, this is a new thing, seeing this. He's getting the crowd jazzed up to do this kind of stuff. He's getting the crowd jazzed up to a point where they're taking the brunt, they're taking the game out to screw with American people, left and right. People will do anything and everything for him. Okay. You probably already hear me talk about this one, so I'm going to throw it out to you there, pal. And I'm also going to be throwing this video out to Artists in Recovery. Morning, Daryl, from the West Coast. And ask you two jokers. You ever seen the science fiction show Buck Rogers, or heard of it a long time ago? Heard of a character actor named Jack Palance? Playing a charismatic character who threatens and intimidates people by turning their fear and trepidation into their own worst weapon. It's called The Planet of Slave Girls. This is a two-parter on that one, first season. And where he's trying to build up his own empire on the planet, therefore expanding it out. With little fighters out there to cause problem with people and everything else. In his own little enclave, he has these hands. He has these hands, and they glow red. And he wants people's adoration. He looks at his victim. I'm going to put my hands on you now. And then he kills him because his hands are red like crazy. And they're glowing like crazy. And his hands are glowing worse because the people are so afraid. He's drawing in their fear and their power into him. And then this poor victim gets to be killed. And then he's like, Khalil, Khalil. They're screaming the name. Khalil, 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 Khalil. It's like Donald Trump all over again in the 25th century. It would freak me out if his hands started glowing red like this. I mean, the silver tongue that kept spewing crap out like crazy to a lot of his rallies and people all around. And he thinks he's going to walk on top of water. He's going to get off this damn thing. He's hoping to win the election so he can get himself off the federal charges. The problem is he can't get himself off the damn state charges. You have to petition the governors for that one to do it. You have to petition them for clemency, for mercy. And if the governor's not going to do it, he might as well have his campaign or his campaign staff to go to those elections where he's going to get his ass reamed left and right in state charges to get the government, well, changed a bit. Governors changed a bit. Because once he gets the governors changed into what he wants, imagine what's going to happen afterwards. Puts his people in there in order to have his charges be removed. Meanwhile, the Trumplicans in Congress right now are still debating the issue or trying to get to the issue whether or not they're going to be getting his record expunged. And still go after the Democrats because what else is there to do but to go after the Democrats and blame them for everything. It's insane, I swear to God. It's one thing to go after issues left and right, but this? Okay. Second thing. Aug23. The Wagner leader, I called him. Theoretically, oh, that's a good one. I'm looking on MSNBC. I gotta listen to that story one of these here days. A biker bar. Problems with it. Ooh, yeah. That's something to listen to. No, but concerning about what the Russian leader was, the leader of the Wagner group, mercenaries. If I understand their history correctly at this point, these guys had got their sticky fingers all over Africa over the past, 20, 30 years. Gathering support and gathering resources that certain countries out there need desperately in order to compete and be functional in a global economy, so they're not falling behind in any way, shape, or form. And it seems like the Wagner Group is just basically nothing but leeches. I'll gather a huge army over here to fight your wars as long as you keep paying them very well, but you stiff them on ammunition one way or another and they go crazy on you. And the guy who's supposed to be a cook who promoted himself into the leader of being a mercenary leader would be hired by his former boss and then rebelling against his former boss. You know, Putin never looked too kindly on people going after his ass one way or another. He and all of the other autocrats want absolute loyalty at zero cost to them. They want it free. They want a free will to be handed over. Crazy ass world that we live in. Makes me wonder if we got the Antichrist cloned all over the damn place. But anyway, so right now, hell of a morning to wake up to. And no, I didn't watch the debate. No, I didn't watch the debate. I already put out my videos out there saying I didn't. Because I didn't want to deal with this. You kidding me? I'm listening to the Gaggle show over here, and I didn't want to give myself nightmares over this thing. Should have been taken like with a grain of salt, but no, I ended up watching cartoons. 57-year-old watching cartoons. What the hell? But I really, really did not want to deal with that kind of crap. Nikki Haley, who I thought, actually I didn't think of her as that intelligent because she worked for Trump. She worked for an orange gas bag. She supported the orange gas bag, which makes me think that she didn't know what the hell she was doing. Even though she represented the United States under the gas bag. And now she's got other ideas that are just as screwy for limiting our country every which way, shape, or form. Oh, and the other thing I love. Here's the thing. I was trying to get to a point here. Gentlemen, you ever heard of a guy named Larry Elder? Oh, for a few decades, the guy who's been on the radio talking about his conservative bullet points left and right, and even on Sirius, and trying to show what kind of a knowledgeable, theoretical human he is. And he got stiffed because he didn't show up with the first debate. He wasn't allowed to show up at the first debate, even though he did, had his bona fides. Didn't matter. They didn't want him on the stage. He got pissed off about it. He was belly aching about the whole damn thing. Crazy. Very crazy. This guy was the same schmuck who went after Gavin Newsom in California. Now, there's a lot of people out there that didn't like Gavin Newsom's policies and probably still don't. Even though he's going to be ending out his term already, and we're going to be having another election pretty shortly. But I still got to give it to the guy, even though I did vote against him, for me being a libturd/libtard. That's the that's the definition of being a Democrat out here in California. Even in this town of Roseman, California, they're that stuck up on Trumplicans. Anyway, Elder went after and didn't even have sufficient enough votes. There was a recall election. He was trying to go. Elder was using to get Newsom out of office. Didn't work. Newsom still had a hell of a lot of supporters in the state, and put Elder back back on his radio and slunking and just same thing I hear from the Trumplicans these days, especially the ones who lost the elections. They got that's all I hear. So now he's doing the same damn shit because he didn't get onto the stage with the big boys out there, or theoretical big boys. And he was belly aching about it on social media. The only thing I can tell him is, wah! Wah! He wanted to go into government. He should have worked as a government job. Should have worked his way out of the low end and worked his way up. He was trying to do this thing like Ronald Reagan did a long time ago, back in the 60s, and screwed our country, during that time, not the country, but our state of California. So having a personality run the state of California without even having the slightest idea how the damn state works, or even if he actually had financial ability to balance a checkbook. I know it's character assassination, but you got to have character to assassinate in the first place, so he ain't got any. I'm sorry. But he wanted to be a public official. He's going to be torn apart left and right. That's the thing. When you're a public official and you're going to be running for a huge office that's going to be visual all the damn time, either you're feeding an ego or you're going to be feeding people who don't support your ass, and they will tear your ass apart. Of course, you can't say, well, they're character assassinating me. You want to go public? You're going to have to expect to get all the damn negative criticism. I expect it. I want it. Am I a glutton for punishment? No. Because I've been punishing myself a hell of a long while, so I don't need these assholes to tell me what the hell I am. I'm a lowlife. I'm a fool and idiot. I'm a foolish person and I'm idiotic. I'm a lid-turd and lid-tard. It still balances his checkbook every month to see how much of a limited amount's coming in. Now, when you're dealing with the state government or even dealing with any kind of government, you got funding coming in. Beau, Daryl, you got to think in this kind of terminology. But give me 1 second here. Sorry about that, gentlemen. I was going over a news clip that happened last night. KTLA Channel 5 was having a live news conference with Orange County Sheriff and hearing what the hell happened at a biker bar out in Orange County, California. They're still gathering more information, and I still got to see whether or not they're going to have more information about it instead of the orange gas bag and everything else concerning about political crap. Because apparently there was, and they're still trying to confirm it, a former cop, a former police officer, got involved in either a fight or a shooting at this bar. And somehow there was a confrontation between this cop and Orange County Sheriff. And the guy died at the scene, I think due to a gunfight with the sheriffs. Well-known establishment in Orange County. Seems like that offer a little bit more of a sting than anything else. I know I was going off the deep rails concerning about our political system, not to mention there are people who are wanting to get more and more ego attention at this point, and yet something of this nature is a little bit more rattling than hearing about a politician whining his ass, an almost politician whining his ass off because he didn't make it to stage in a national chain to build up his own damn street creds and his own damn ego. As if he already had enough problems as it is. I mean, almost 20 or 30, maybe 40 years, I don't know how long, he's been on theoretical radio trying to prove to people left and right that he is articulate, he's smart, and he knows what the hell he's doing, and yet shows what kind of a fool and idiot he really is. Now, I was saying something about finances here. I was trying to get something into it. Balancing a checkbook is no fun, easy task. And trying to keep your accounts balanced, you really would have to have accounting 101 training unless you lived with an accountant, controller, bookkeeper at the same time for most of your life. I did. My mother. My mother was a bookkeeper, income tax specialist. She ran business for almost 20 to 30 years, maybe longer than that, actually, until she couldn't do it no more. She wasn't nationally known. She wasn't internationally known. She wasn't even known statewide, just in a local area. Well, she did okay. Survived and went to different jobs. When she couldn't keep up with the client's work, she'd go out working for another company. But she ran her income tax business at home. I do her data entry and computer for her. Doesn't mean I'm a computer expert at anything. I just ran her own computer. And the thing of it is, we had to run our finances fiscally tight, and at times we didn't. But when you have limited income, it's on a fluid basis. Sometimes you don't know whether or not you're getting enough money to pay the rent or not, but we tried to manage that one first. Well, we did. Pay the rent, try to pay the bills, or at least partial, and then try to make sure there was enough food to last for the entire month. My brother was at home, 8 years older than I am. If you notice one thing here, let me put this out. Picture in the background, cabinet. Ma back in 2013, February. My brother in September of 2018. That's why I call it a diary of the griever named John Weaver. I've been with him all my life. I'm 57. My brother's 8 years older than I was. I learned a lot from that lady, even though I didn't understand if I was learning a lot from that lady. But I could tell you about balancing a checkbook. Balancing the state of California or even the country is a different story altogether. But I can tell you how to balance a checkbook and maybe doing a little bit of accounting 101. And I never took accounting classes. Well, I take it back. There was one particular business college that went under years ago, back in the 90s, right after the 94 quake. I was in there for maybe about a year, almost a year and a half. Think about that time. It used to be called Catherine College. It had office courses, business courses, a little bit of legal, financial, a lot of typing. A lot of typing. Just something for someone to try to keep their job skills going, especially when they're trying to go out there for low-end jobs in the clerical field. Maybe help out in accounting class or accounting department with maybe a little bit of key punching, processing a little bit, and that's about it. But not in the level of accountant controller or anything else like that. I needed to have the smarts for that one. Ma said I had the smarts for it, but I really didn't have the stomach for it either. I hated numbers from those days. This time, as an adult, trying to balance my own limited funds in my own house, it's a different story altogether. And yeah, I understand about how setting up accounts left and right. Doesn't mean I'm an accountant controller specialist. Just understand a little basics of counting at this point over here. You got to have your revenue. You got to have your capital ready to rock and roll. You got to have your liabilities lined up so you know what the hell it's going to be eating out of your damn funding until you got a balance left to deal with and then have to scrape that damn thing up and spread it out for so many months to live on. Capital or investments are the things that you actually have physically that maybe add worth. Maybe things that you actually do declare as worth. Revenue coming into the household, which is your funding. Wherever the hell you're getting it from, that's your funding right there. And you take that balance and you look at the expenditure sheets that you have in your liabilities. What's the primary, and then what's the other expenditures that eat it up? You have to look at it that way when dealing with the state of California, or actually with any other kind of state. Is what kind of revenues are you pulling? What's your capital that you have for investments? And once you have your revenues calculated and figured out how much you got to use, then you got to check out your expenditures, your liabilities, get a balance. Take that balance, subtract it against the revenue, and then now you got to spread that damn thing out for so long. What's so hard about that? But the thing of it is, managing a state requires a lot of effort in a damn thing, and you have to have either going to be a money manager for the whole damn place and just work as work in the financial areas, or you're actually going to be pulling the state into some kind of twilight zone of your own making. I'm taking too damn long in this one. I'll probably talk about another video as soon as I take my dog out for a walk. Get my head cleared.